Today, I'm going to be sharing what I don't particularly like about living in England as an American. What's up, guys? It's Amanda. Today is part 2 of my Life in England series, where I share things I don't really like or found difficult about living here. Now, I've lived here for about 7.5 years now, and I just want to say that I'm not by any means dissing England. I absolutely love my life here, and I feel so fortunate to be able to live here with my family. No matter where you live in the world, there will be things you don't particularly like, and I just want to share for anyone who may be visiting or thinking about moving to England. Or maybe you're just here because you like listening to me ramble on. Either way, I'm happy to have you. So let's get into the reasons why. Number 1, the weather. Let's be honest, it isn't great. It rains a lot.
Oh, can you imagine?
Growing up in Pennsylvania, I was used to really long, hot summers and absolutely freezing winters where you'd get feet of snow, where sometimes you'd be stuck in the house for days. Which I guess, now thinking about that, I really don't miss that either. So when I moved here, it took me some time to get used to all the overcast, rainy days. So now I just live for the beautiful English summers, and I still hope for snow every December for Christmas. And it hasn't happened yet. But fingers crossed. Number 2, some things are more expensive, which is super annoying. So I'm always asking my family to send stuff over from the States as it's usually cheaper. So they've sent me like M&Ms and different kind of foods and things like that that I really like, some that I can't get here.
Are you swallowing them whole? You're eating them so fast, are they even touching your tongue?
But they're usually quite expensive in the grocery stores here, so I'm always asking them to send stuff over. Another thing, my husband and I love Carhartt clothes, but in England they're super trendy, so they're really pricey. Whereas in the States, they're almost like a workman's clothes. So it's much cheaper and there's so much more choice. Camera equipment also tends to be more expensive here, so we're always looking to the States for that sort of thing because the exchange rate makes the prices even better. Number 3, the housing prices. I couldn't believe the difference in house prices in England compared to America. Property is much more expensive here, and you typically get less for your money.
It's true.
My husband says if you go up north, you can get much more house for your money compared to the south, so I just thought that was worth mentioning. But I suppose it just comes down to space, as England doesn't have as much room to build as, say, Pennsylvania does. I mean, where I lived, you could get a whole house for what you'd pay for a studio flat here. And again, I do appreciate it's all relative to where you're living. Say if you're living somewhere like New York City, I'm sure the prices would be very similar. I'm only comparing where I'm from and what I'm used to. Number 4, traffic. It is horrendous. Honestly, you haven't fully experienced England if you haven't sat in traffic for at least 45 minutes. So what I usually try to do is not drive anywhere first thing in the morning when people are going to work, and then in the evening when people are just getting off work because it can take an eternity to get home. Number 5, British versus American English. Now, this is something I genuinely didn't even think about before moving here, as we both speak English, but I did find it a little difficult at times during the first year or so. We tend to use different words for the same thing. Like the most common one we usually hear in like films and stuff is chips and french fries. Or for my fellow mamas, it's diaper and nappy. In the beginning, I was kind of conscious about what I said because there were some instances when I would say something and it would mean something completely different. Or my husband would say something and I'd have to ask what he was talking about. But I do want to stress it was never anything major. It was just everyday things that Brits have different words for. So if you're over here visiting, you don't have to worry about like it's a completely different language. It's just normal everyday words. Some other things I don't particularly enjoy. Particularly? Some other things I don't particularly enjoy are roundabouts, shops closing early, Marmite, high taxes, and the parking. To be honest, until moving here, I never really even thought about parking as an issue. Well, in England, there's either no parking at all, or it costs about a bajillion pounds an hour. So either way, it sucks. As I've said before, no matter where you live in the world, there will be things you don't like, and England is no different. Personally, I feel that the good very much outweighs the bad. I feel incredibly lucky to be able to raise my girls here with my husband. I think it's an amazing country, and if you ever have the chance to visit, you definitely should. Just make sure to bring a raincoat and boots. And also, if you're interested, check out part 1, which is what I love about living in England. I'll put the link in the description for you guys if you want to check it out. And if you've been to England, or if you live in England, let me know what you don't like or maybe what annoys you about living here. As always, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, smash that like button if that's what you're into, and I'll see you in the next video.